BlackFacts.com presents Native American Icons, Red Cloud. Born in 1822 in what is now north-central Nebraska, Red Cloud was an important Native American leader who fought to save his people's lands. His parents named him after an unusual weather event. His mother, Walks As She Thinks, was a member of the Oglala Sioux, and his father, Lone Man, was Brule Sioux. Red Cloud was raised by his mother's uncle, an Oglala Sioux leader named Smoke, after his father died when he was around 5 years old. At a young age, Red Cloud sought to distinguish himself as a warrior. He demonstrated great bravery in the Oglala's battles with other tribes, including the Pawnees. Red Cloud was instrumental in organizing resistance to white expansion into his people's territory. He had refused to sign several treaties with the U.S. government and even stormed out of negotiations held at Fort Laramie in Wyoming in 1866. Fort Laramie was on what was known as the Bozeman Trail, which was developed by John Bozeman as a shortcut to the Oregon Trail and the gold-rich lands in what is now Montana. In 1866, the U.S. government has built new forts along the trail north of Fort Laramie. This expansion enraged Red Cloud, who managed to unite several different Native American groups to drive out the soldiers from Fort Phil Kearny. On December 21, 1866, Captain William Judd Fetterman led a group of 80 soldiers to eliminate their Native American problem. But they were quickly slaughtered by more than 1,000 warriors who rose up against them. This incident became known as the Fetterman Massacre. By the spring of 1868, Red Cloud had finally forced the white man's hand with his continued assault on those who ventured into his territory. General Ulysses S. Grant decided to abandon the forts in the northern part of the Bozeman Trail. While he signed a treaty later that year, Red Cloud resisted government efforts to move him and his people from their lands. In 1870, Red Cloud traveled to Washington, D.C., to lobby for Native American rights. He attended a special reception at the White House and later traveled to New York. The mighty leader impressed crowds with his eloquence and diplomatic skills but could do little to preserve his lands in face of greed over gold. While other Native American leaders, including Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, rose up against the whites, Red Cloud seemed to stay out of the fighting. He moved with his people to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota in the late 1870s. In the early 1880s, Red Cloud stepped down as leader. However, he still continued the work to improve the lives of his people. In 1897, he headed to Washington, D.C. to campaign for better living conditions on the reservation. Red Cloud died on the Pine Ridge Reservation on December 10, 1909, at the age of 88. Learn Black history, teach Black history at BlackFacts.com.